Hello everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the Doug podcast called Funny Talk. I'm your host, Coconut Buyer, and to my left is...
Yuri the Canadian.
And to my right is...
Intern Laura.
We're all here, back again, for another great episode of Doug.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Sorry about the room being a little echoey. We had to move rooms because somebody was working in their old room. So we had to move away.
The nerve.
So I apologize if the audio quality is not up to snuff. But no matter, we will continue, and we'll have a good time. So, first off, I'd like to address some of the nice comments we had today.
Yeah.
We got another batch of great comments by our dear listeners. First, we have a Cream Believer, which is a great username, by the way. He sent me a basically just said, just started listening. So sorry if someone has brought this up before, but have you guys heard of the episode of the Cartoon Book Club podcast about Doug and Doug Likes? They spend the podcast explaining how Nickelodeon's Doug indirectly spawned a bunch of similarly styled animated shows, also with low-key kid protagonists. Among these are As Told by Ginger, Hey Arnold, and Pelswick. It's an interesting listen. I'm curious what you guys would have to say about it. And this is actually a podcast I'm aware of, but unfortunately they stopped hosting their episodes and they kind of stopped making new ones. So but he was kind enough to actually send me the episode itself. So thank you for that,
nice.
Cream Believer. That was very fun to listen to. They don't talk about Doug a whole lot, only like 15 minutes worth of Doug discussion. Then they kind of get into these other shows. But he did send me this graphic of the Sephirotic system of 12 divine Dougs. This is like Doug, and I'll post this in the description.
That's the only hierarchy Doug will ever be the top of.
Yeah, so basically like Doug inspired all these shows that are similar to Doug.
But I was saying to Richard in the hall that for the most part, all of these shows, what's this one?
Pepper Ann.
Hey Arnold, The Weekenders, Recess. The kids are a lot less low key than Doug.
Yeah, they have
exciting.
more of a personality.
Yeah.
Like Pepper Ann, she's like, I guess it's more like they're more like kind of blank slates. Not that they're boring, but they're like easy to put yourself onto.
Okay.
Just like kind of.
They have no magic powers. They're just kids.
Right. Well, they're all just about kids going to school and having to deal with kid issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these shows are like that.
Yeah.
So it starts with Doug, which is Doug Prime. Then it branches off into Football Doug and Funny Girl Doug. Football Doug is Hey Arnold, and Funny Girl Doug is Pepper Ann. Then it goes to Wheelchair Doug, which is Pelswick, which I don't think any of us are familiar with.
No.
It's, it was an American show. And there's Space Doug, which is Lloyd's Life, Lloyd in Space. I've never seen this show. It's like an alien show.
He actually looks the most like Doug of all of them.
Yeah, he looks pretty boring. And apparently, the podcast episode I listened to, there was like an episode where they talked about transgender issues.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is, it was kind of...
That's nice for
progressive.
Them. Good
progressive. And there's Dramatic Girl Doug, which is As Told by Ginger, which is a show I never watched. Oh, fun fact about that show, the creator of that went on to create the show Selfie.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What a
Did
successful
they do
career.
anything in between that?
Probably nothing. They probably worked at like a Zellers in between. And just like
Those
Zellers
two
went out of
busts.
business and was like, I gotta make another show. So she's doing great for herself now, getting all that Hulu money. Then there's The Weekenders, which is 4 Dougs. I like The Weekenders. I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but every episode I watched I liked. And then there's Disney's Doug, which we'll get to one day maybe.
One day.
We'll see. There's Rugrats Doug.
That's not very creative.
The Doug's All Grown Up.
School.
It's the All Grown Up Rugrats show, which I hated.
Okay.
Sacrilege. There's School Doug, which is like Recess.
The bottom one.
What, the TJ?
No, the very
Oh,
last.
and the one.
Oh,
my
the kid
God.
with the glasses.
I'm
What was
getting
his name?
ahead of myself.
Was his name like Dougie or something?
Oh.
No, it was like Ralphie.
No, Ralph was the main guy.
There's Ralph. Yeah, Ralphie. There's Spinelli. She was like the spunky girl character.
Yeah.
There's the black kid who played basketball.
Skater.
Skeeter?
Really?
No.
Oh, like yeah.
Gotcha again, Yuri.
Yeah.
There's the
Then
fat
there's like
gay
the two
kid.
asthmatics. The fat gay kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was gay.
He was gay.
I never noticed that.
No, he was like totally gay. Then there's
There's a sweetie.
Gretchen. She's the nerdy girl.
Yeah.
And then whatever that
I
the
don't
nerdy kid
remember.
was.
What was the tomboy girl?
Spinelli.
I remember the one episode where her
Sure.
and the guy with the hat.
Ralphie.
Ralphie. And,
She had a crush on him?
well,
No,
they
TJ.
had- TJ.
His
and,
name was TJ.
TJ and
Oh.
Spinelli.
Oh, the fat kid's Mikey.
The kids realize that when they get older, they'll want to kiss each other, but they just can't understand how that could ever happen. They're like, well, let's just try it. Like one of the guys and one of the girls will kiss each other, so they kiss each other, and
That's
they feel,
hot.
They feel nothing. It's like completely unsexual
Oh, so they both
because they're kids.
They both realize
Yeah.
that they're gay.
They're like, oh,
Wow.
we're kids.
Amazing.
Yeah.
There's Black Girl Doug, which
Yeah.
I guess is what's that? What was that show called?
I think it was
Proud
called
Family.
Black Girl Oh,
It's Proud
right.
Family.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's Dog Doug, which is Teacher's Pet, which is a show nobody remembers, but they made a theatrical movie about.
Really?
Yeah, it had one season. I think Nathan Lane voiced the dog, and they made like an entire movie in theaters
That's great.
for Teacher's Pet for some reason.
Oh, Nathan Lane.
So check that out. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And let's continue with our comments. Scrolling by here. Joseph Swanee, which we featured last time on the podcast. Thank you, Joseph Swanee, for being a fan.
Mhm.
He said, this podcast is awesome. Thank you. Can't wait for the episode where Patty develops anorexia nervosa. For anyone who thinks I'm shitting you, Google it. I did Google it. It was a real episode.
I believed him right off the bat, and I'm so psyched for it.
Well, it's part of Disney's Doug. Here's the problem with Disney's Doug. It's very not all the episodes are online.
Oh.
Like it's very. I guess back in the day, they're all on YouTube, but then Disney kind of cracked down on it and removed a lot of them.
Okay.
So a lot of them are backed up, but not all of them, and not the final episode of Doug ever. Just nowhere on the internet.
Does shit go down?
That's crazy.
Apparently, I read like a Wikipedia synopsis.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Shit goes down.
Shit goes down?
Shit
Okay.
goes down. Apparently, I've never seen it.
Oh.
I would love to.
I wonder if it's impossible to find. No.
It might be.
There's
I don't
gotta
know.
be a way.
I don't know.
There's gotta be.
It was never released on like home video or anything like that.
It's almost impossible to find these episodes we're watching.
Yeah, no,
No,
they're
they're all-
hard.
I
Well,
want to ask
they're
you
all on
where
like.
it is.
I just go on like.
Well, we shouldn't talk about it.
Like there's like certain
Yeah.
websites. I think they're all up though.
But are they of the best quality? I just forget what the
No.
quality was as a kid. No. not great.
Okay. I feel better if I
Oh.
know that you're watching just as bad as quality as I am.
It's all right quality. I mean, it's not like super shitty. It's okay.
Mhm.
It is older. It's like 1991.
Yep.
So the quality's already pretty poor.
Yeah.
But anyways. So our next comment is by Samurai Karasu. Samurai Karasu. I've never said his name out loud before. I'm actually subscribed to him. He does like Let's Plays. He does really high quality Let's Plays that I really enjoy.
What's that? Let's Plays?
Oh, there's
Like
like
interactive YouTube videos?
no, it's like people like someone will play a video game and then they'll just talk over it.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
But actually,
Yeah.
he does like a very good job at it. He actually goes through the game and actually gives like it shows you all the tricks, and I think he's pretty funny. So, anyways, you should check out his channel. Anyways, he wrote a comment saying, "Speaking as an American, photo swap day is complete bullshit. Though a lot of high schoolers did masturbate to other people's pictures, so that might be what they were thinking of."
I like that he gave a helpful reference.
Right.
I like that we're getting this positive feedback, too.
Yeah,
Stuff
people
like-
are
Yeah.
engaging with us.
Just pulling out the details.
Right.
It's
That
nice.
yeah, that's something last episode, the whole photo swap thing. We didn't know what that was about, and apparently that's not even a real thing. That was me. Sorry, everyone. I'm fucking
better be
unprofessional.
fucking
Look at
important.
Hollywood over
It
here.
wasn't. It was a Snapchat, which I never look at.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein on the phone wants me to write a Doug movie. Anyways, then we'll say that one for last. There's Make a 10. Make a 10. What's wrong if you have a real name? He said, Mr. Dink said in the first episode, I think, that he's a writer. Did you catch this?
No.
I didn't catch that. He
But
said he's a writer.
it's very possible. He says a lot. He said a lot of shit in that first episode too, so it would have been easy to miss that. But I remember
But-
watching it more than once.
He's
maybe.
never mentioned that he's a writer since, and he never like writes anything.
He invents a lot
He
of
invents
things.
stuff.
But then he never mentioned that he was the head scoutmaster of the Bluff Scouts either.
Oh my god!
That
Yes,
is
I have.
What the
True.
fuck was that about? Anyway,
I
we'll
have
get
a
into
sad
that.
thought
We'll get
about
to it.
that. We'll get there.
We'll get there. So and then Kaylee again. Kaylee, I thought we told you not to comment on our videos. Jesus.
She's
Anyways, she wrote, "How dare you? Without Save the Cat, this podcast would never be as organized. Thought-provoking and such a good identifier that Doug's whole life is a dark night of the soul, you delusional Blake Snyder-hating dinks. P.S. Great episode. Fuck you, Kaylee."
Don't compare me to Mr. Dink.
Why do we mention Save the Cat at one point?
Yes.
Yeah, I just assumed that you probably bashed it at some point.
Well,
No, I don't think that we did.
No.
We said nice things.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I think Kaylee just projecting her hatred towards Blake Snyder into our podcast.
It's just classic attention
Right.
seeking. It's like,
Right,
go
way
on
to
another
go.
video, Kaylee.
Thanks, Kaylee. Hey, Kaylee, you know it's very mean the things you say about Blake Snyder because he's dead, so he can't defend himself. So fuck you, Kaylee.
Moving along.
Moving along. Sorry, I just got really riled up. What's the next thing we said we were going to talk about?
Doug News.
Oh, Doug News. Welcome to Doug News. All right. So what's your Doug News today, Yuri?
No, I don't have any.
Oh.
Well, Doug's still lame.
Laura?
I don't have any Doug the TV show news.
Oh, shit.
You know any Dougs?
I think that the guy who I went out with last week is named Doug, but it could have been Gary.
Oh.
Doug or Gary?
Doug or Gary. How was that? Was it a nice?
Boring.
Boring?
Mm.
Wait, did he talk about his dog the whole time?
Yeah, his dog was
What?
a hoot, though. Hilarious dog.
Did he have a Walkman, a disc player?
A disc player, yeah, and God, could he dance.
Doug was trending on Twitter the other day. Like the name Doug was trending on Twitter last night.
Our dog?
Not our dog, not our dog, but it's not there anymore. So good Doug news, everyone.
Good
Clap,
stuff.
clap, 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 clap. Applause, applause, applause. Okay, so we got a new segment. We have footage from What If Doug Was Still On Today. What would the characters be up to? So here we have Patty, who is in prison, and here's a scene from a future episode of Doug called Doug Visits Patty in Prison, and this is Patty talking to her cellmate.
There's this Guatemalan grandma who's been teaching herself English watching Turner and Hooch about 6 times a day. I'm guessing someone got tired of it.
I came by yoga today.
Oh. Well, I'm taking a little break.
I thought yoga was a little break.
It was. Then I hit you. You can only take so much Zen, you know. Sometimes you want to feel something.
I'll talk about it sometime.
I used to grow marijuana out in California, Humboldt County. 1 acre, nothing crazy, just enough to keep me going.
Going like baked?
Like pay the rent. I mean, I smoked it once in a while, but mostly I was just a good old-fashioned drunk, like my parents raised me to be.
So the feds shut you down.
Oh, actually, it was the deer.
The who now?
Oh, yeah, deer love weed. Fucks them right up, too. They start jumping around all over the place. Then they come back for more. And the kicker is you can't keep them out. I tried everything. Soap shavings, fox pee, which they sell at the Home Depot for $120 a gallon.
Seems like you gotta just build a fence.
Wow, that was something.
Dark.
I never thought
Dark days.
they would get. I guess they get edgier as the series goes on.
But
Yeah.
I kind of I'm not surprised because I always saw, that was Patty, right? When she was
Yeah.
older?
Yeah.
I mean, I always knew that she'd go down that road.
Yeah.
And I'm surely that's just the tip of the iceberg and all of her, life of crime activities. And I see, personally, I think that Patty probably goes to the opposite side of the law. And then Roger, he becomes like a priest. And Doug, he's, what do you think Doug does?
I think Doug's the deer she was referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Guys, I didn't play the clip
metaphors.
through, but it gets so much darker.
Does
Like
it?
Patty did some dark stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, we won't. It wasn't cute to listen to it.
Wasn't fun.
But if you guys want to listen to it, you can. I think No, actually, I don't want to say that because then it suspends disbelief.
Yeah,
That's actually Patty.
You're
That's
breaking
actually
the
Patty.
illusion, Laura.
Sorry.
You're fired. Okay, so why don't we get to the episodes, guys? We got episode 4, Doug Takes a Hike, and Doug Rocks.
Doug Rocks, not.
Did you just Borated?
Yep.
I did a not.
Doug Rocks, not.
I did that before Borat.
Doug Takes a Hike, not.
I was doing it no for.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so Doug Takes a Hike. We'll start with that. This is an episode where Doug he joins, like, what is this?
Bluff Scouts.
The
Bluff Scouts.
Yeah.
As people do when they're his age.
Right, I guess.
Mhm.
Did you ever join one of these things, Yuri?
I was part of the Beaver. It started off Beaver Scouts, and
The
then
Beaver Scouts?
and then Cub Scouts, and then
Aw.
Scouts.
Uh.
And it just depended on how old you were. And I was really good. I was an obedient beaver, and I was an obedient cub. But then one time I was like, just once, I slipped up once, man. I slipped up once, and
Right.
I didn't get the tick of good behavior this one
What did you
meeting.
do?
Freak
I was
out?
just socializing, man. Like, you know, I was always a quiet kid, and the one time that I actually like had a little fun, I don't get a little tick. You wanted to get the tick because they added up all the
Yeah.
points at
Right.
the end of the season. Then you'd get like an award in your group, whoever had the
Okay.
most points. And I lost, so I
That's so
quit
unfair.
immediately. Yeah.
So you slipped up once and you quit.
After 3.5, 4, maybe a few years. Yeah.
I guess Boy Scouts would really value obedience above
I guess, because boys
good
are...
nature and
I
socialization.
guess boys are shitholes and they don't really
Yeah.
listen to anything,
Yeah.
essentially.
The point of Boy Scouts would be to get you guys in line.
I guess so. Were you ever in one of those troops, Laura?
No, Jews don't really do that. It's really,
don't?
I would have loved to have been the Brandons. That's the girls one.
I guess so, yeah.
No.
Nothing?
Nothing
Didn't join
like
the
that.
Brownies.
I didn't. I don't know. Hunt, was that what kids do in these things?
Hunt,
Hunt,
Forage.
hunt, and forage.
Hunt and forage
Yeah,
and
did
bake
you?
the fires. Bake fires.
Bake the fires.
Well, obviously by that
You know what we
statement-
did?
What?
We tied knots.
Really?
Wow.
We tied knots, and one time I missed, like, we had a recess game every single meeting or whatever you want to call it, and I couldn't get the fucking knot. I just couldn't figure it out. And I mean, it wasn't like tying your shoelaces. It was like this complicated thing.
Yeah.
And then I cried.
Oh.
Did you get a tick for crying?
No, if any, yeah. I mean, a good tick because I wanted a tick.
They just stick you for everything.
I think they felt
Cried,
sorry.
there you go.
Because I was really
The
trying.
sympathy mark. That's good to have sympathy.
Sympathy to crying.
That's what I
tick.
learned from Inside Out.
I haven't
Oh,
seen
you
that
watched
yet.
it?
I saw Inside
It's
Out.
good?
I did. It was good. Wasn't my favorite Pixar film though. A lot of people are saying it's like the best film since Up. I don't agree with
Oh,
that,
that's
but
what they always say.
yeah, that's what they always say. I think some critics said that it was like it will change the way people will think about emotions differently way
Man.
long after films are done. That's what a
Okay.
person said.
But I actually, I was thinking about this, that I think it would be confusing for kids. I think it's like a weird way of explaining emotions to kids. It like compartmentalizes them in a way that might confuse them.
Like-
And then they might forever picture like Amy Poehler in their brain, like, right? That she's in it.
Yeah,
and they're all
yeah.
characters. Like, I think it could, I
A
think
bunch
it
of
could
people from the
influence.
office are in her brain.
I think the memories will stay with them, but they
Yeah.
won't understand what those memories mean until later in life.
I'm really curious how
Maybe.
kids are going to react to this movie.
Like, they're not going to understand. I don't know if it's necessarily going to help children develop emotion, like understanding
though.
emotions better. But I think
though.
that they'll remember it, and then I don't know. I haven't even seen it. I'm just
Yeah.
going from-
Right. Fair enough.
Pure speculation.
Anyways, let's not talk about Inside Out. Let's talk about something better.
So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
this
what?
episode begins with Doug.
Right.
He's reciting his typical Boy Scout like induction speech. I promised to do this as a Cub Scout or whatever, and this almost seems to be like a bit lacking in the perverse goofiness that the show runs on until Mr. Dink, like, is in frame, revealed as the Scout leader, and he declares Doug a tinder toe. I think is
A
what
tender toe.
A tender toe.
a tender
Yeah.
toe.
Which is gross.
What, do you know what a tender toe is?
No, I
Well,
don't.
I
It
coming
sounds
from
gross.
being that this phrase "tender toe" is coming from
Mr. Dink.
Dink. I googled it to see if it was like another version of camel toe because he's like this
Oh.
weird sex guy. But nothing turned up. I do not
No.
think that leaving. I also just don't think that leaving a bunch of children in the care of Mr. Dink is. No. Like it's definitely both a mistake and it's entertaining. I'll say that. It's very entertaining. But man, oh man, like when Doug, like when he finishes his speech, you see how all of his fellow bluff scouts, they all like clap their hands and they just lose their shit. Like they're really excited about getting Doug into their club, and they should all be like, no, God damn it. But even so, like just way over the top. Yeah,
they're heavily drugged.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Yeah,
but here's my big problem with this whole thing. Why is Roger part of this troop? Why would Roger want to be part of this?
I don't know.
Why is he a senior pack leader?
He's like the worst bully ever. He has none of the bullying credentials.
But you'd think he'd be like rebellious and he wouldn't want to do something so like lame and childish.
Exactly.
Because he seems like, I'm too cool for this. But he's like a senior pack leader. It just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I think it also kind of gives him a depth a little bit.
Yeah, well, this whole episode gives him a real depth.
I'd say
we'll
so.
obviously get into that later.
Oh, yeah, yes,
but,
of course.
I was, like, trying to catalog all of Roger's bullying moves
Mm-hmm.
to see if he was, like, a real good bully. He's a horrible bully. He doesn't do anything, like, really, really great. And joining the Bluff Scouts is no real bully would ever join the Boy Scouts, right?
Right,
They'd all be too cool for it.
Yeah.
Especially, like, with Mr. Dink as the leader. But I was curious about, like, Boy Scout leaders, how you can come to be one, because I was wondering if there's like a rigorous screening process, just because Mr. Dink is a leader.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, just really quickly, like it's intensive. It requires a lot of time and energy to become a leader, and there's like a 3-month probation and training period.
For kids?
Yeah, to become a scout leader, and most men who do it because their sons are in the Boy Scouts, and they want to spend more time with them.
When I was in Boy Scouts, all the other guys were all parents of the other guys.
Yeah. So that makes me think, okay, maybe he's a pervert.
Mm.
Maybe my theory holds up that he's intellectually disabled because that's why he wants to, hang out with kids. Or maybe he spends a lot of time with kids. He spent a lot of time trying to join the Bluff Scouts. Maybe he wanted kids and couldn't have any.
Like he's sterile?
Yeah.
That would make sense too. All part of the sexual inadequacy.
Right.
Yeah.
That totally goes with that.
I thought you were going to say maybe he's Roger's dad.
Oh my God.
It was in the subtext what you were saying.
I don't think there's ever been like a mixed race in Doug.
amazing.
I was thinking because in another episode we see Skeeter's parents and they're both blue.
Yeah.
So like I'm wondering, and Doug's parents are both white.
There's no interracial couples, is what you're saying. Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe like Jim Jenkins can say all he wants that this is like a racial statement that it doesn't matter what color you are. But why is there no interracial couples in the Doug universe?
So true.
I don't
just saying.
But what you were saying about, or like you have to go through some sort of process in order to become a scout leader. But this is like its own private institution. Who knows what the hell the guidelines are to be part of the Bluff Scouts? It reminded me. It reminded me of that episode of South Park season 10, the Super Adventure Fun Time.
You remember season 10?
Yes,
well, I looked it up, and like the chef, and they're all
Sorry.
child molesters, right?
Yes.
They had their own set of rules, and that's what it was. So who knows?
Was it? Was it the one where
Return of Chef?
Where Chef comes in and they just use like
It's
voice
like,
clips of
"Hi,
Isaac
children.
Hayes.
I fuck you in the ass."
Up your butt.
When I was trying to
great.
find info about scout leaders, the first 5 results were grim. Grim news stories.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
That's great.
you're right
I
about
love the
Roger.
world.
Roger, not really.
Yeah.
Does
I
not
mean,
belong.
But again,
As Mr. Dink establishes the buddy system, Roger, he sort of stands out. Like, while everyone else is wearing their blank, soulless, like, staring off into space faces and normal scout uniforms, Roger stands around wearing his punk jacket and,
He wears
with
it
his
over it.
with his like over top of his outfit with
Jesus.
that permanent like asshole grin he has on his face all the
Yeah.
time. Like, you just know he's gonna cause some stuff. And like Roger steps forward, and we should say too, like Doug he's jealous of Skeeter, which doesn't make any sense. Only because Skeeter has all these badges, and nobody should ever be jealous of Skeeter over anything. But I guess if someone had to be, it's going to be Doug.
Over badges.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
because he has no badges because he just joined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, get over yourself,
He says
Doug.
it in the lamest way. He's like, I like everything about being a tender toe, except everybody else has all kinds of awards and badges. That's not at all how he sounds.
I love
That's
that
how
Doug
I
impression.
heard
He
it.
captured the essence of his personality.
Yeah.
He's
He's
such
a
whiny
whiny bitch.
It's like he already has a problem. Like, you'll get your badges.
So Mr. Dink establishes the buddy system, and they're all going to break off into groups, and whoever can find an item that most represents the forest wins a nature merit badge.
Talk about subjective parameters.
Exactly.
What?
Like a tree, a branch,
A branch? Oh, man.
a rock.
And, like, what they bring back later is hilarious. Like,
Yeah, I don't think represents the forest at all. But anyways,
No. Oh, I'm so excited to get to that part.
why does like Roger's kind of like he's being a sociopath as usual. Like he's just getting Doug to do to fix the tent for him while he just buggers off.
Yeah. Oh well, did we say that he like steals Doug as a partner?
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you didn't say that.
Roger steps forward as the self-proclaimed senior pack leader, so it seemed, and he volunteers to partner up with Doug, the new guy. And although Roger is undoubtedly up to one of his schemes against poor dumb Doug, like every single episode, I think this actually makes Doug safer than the rest of the kids because I just can't imagine Mr. Dink trying shit with a badass ginger kid like Roger. You know, like he might. Who knows what the hell Mr. Dink's up to? But he's not. You know, if I wanted protection, I'd pair up with Roger. That's all I'm saying.
Protection from Mr.
What?
Dink.
Mr. Dink.
From Mr. Oh, I get it.
Except that Mr. Dink thinks Roger's a good dude.
Yeah,
right?
Mr. Dink has like a horrible judgment.
No, well, Roger's pretty good at playing like this sweet guy.
Yeah.
I guess so.
He pulls
Yeah.
Doug out. He like yanks him away from his conversation
Yeah,
with
he's
Skeeter.
always nice
And
to
he's like,
the adults.
I just want to say that since Doug's a new guy, I'm gonna take him under my wing. And then Mr. Dink starts crying.
Yeah.
He's so moved
He
by
did
it.
cry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Maybe he was scaring
So
him.
sad. And then
Oh,
Roger-
because he's infertile. Sorry.
he's in prison.
That's probably true. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
totally fits.
And any like kid like
Breaks my
thing
heart
that breaks
for
his
him.
heart. Yeah.
Anyway,
So
fun stuff.
then he like tries to Roger's shitty and he tells like a story about some kid named Skunky Beaumont.
Skunky Beaumont.
He was like murdered by punching trees.
Okay.
Oh my god, I love that. No, you go.
Well, I have to say, like, I have this whole theory about what this episode's about. I think this whole episode is about, for one thing, it's obviously Roger and Doug becoming closer, like we touched on before. Roger
Yeah.
opening up a bit more. And in doing so, the main story of the episode is Roger and Doug doing drugs in the forest.
I support that strongly.
LSD
I
or
support
something.
that strongly. Wait,
What?
you explain a little more why,
Roger
but then I
and
want to
Doug
like
doing drugs.
Okay, well, remember when... Okay. Roger, he puts Doug's underwear up on the flagpole.
Oh yeah, classic.
Yeah. Well, my theory is that he soaked those underwear afterwards in like
LSD.
liquefied LSD, gave them back to Doug.
What?
Doug put them back on, and then just like that SLC punk scene, you know, he absorbs the drugs into his skin and into
Really?
his system through the sweat, which can actually happen.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Well,
And-
in your genitals, it's a mucus membrane.
Oh,
Oh
God.
my god.
Sorry. guys.
Not even thinking about the
disgusting.
genital thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that Roger, you know, it's what kids do, right? They do acid in the forest when they can.
I guess
so.
12-year-olds?
11-year-olds. I don't know. What else are
Well,
they doing?
Roger's probably like a couple of years old.
I don't
Um,
think so. I think
no?
they're the same age.
Okay, I actually wrote like Doug pictures the trees like he's like a fever dream about
Yeah.
the punching trees.
Yeah.
Which I first of all just want to say that I don't see how punching trees are scarier than bears. I think that bears are scarier than punching
Well,
trees.
Punching trees. You never know which tree is a real tree or a punching tree until you get too close.
I guess that's true, but would you? But then still, would you rather be punched by a tree or mauled by a bear? How hard?
Depends. Well, like I guess they have like their branches are kind of like
They
kinda
could pack
rugged.
a punch, but like,
Could pierce
Wouldn't
your
you have
skin.
just
I don't know,
loved to
man.
see like his bad trip hallucination of him being torn apart by a
by a
bear?
bear.
Punching.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so much darker. But no, I was gonna
You go-
say when he pictures the trees punching him,
Yeah.
he like comes to from that fantasy in a way that I've never seen him come. Like he's in a different location. He's
Yeah.
moved locations. He wakes
Oh.
up and he's punching the air and kicking the air.
Yeah.
And he seems completely out of touch with reality.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I
Like-
caught that
Yeah.
entirely. And it's you read into the episode and the way they're acting for each other, they're definitely tripping the whole episode.
Yeah.
And
Damn.
it was like
Damn.
at that point with the mutant trees when I realized Roger is on hallucinogenics this entire episode. You know, this is also explains why Roger thought he himself was the junior camp leader. He just like stepped forward, like I'm the junior camp leader. I'm on
Part of
drugs.
his trip.
Yeah. And so if you watch it closely, you can see it. And like as Doug fucks off to gather firewood, Roger on drugs is left. They're left on. I'm screwing up here. He's talking to himself as Doug walks off to gather firewood, and he just keeps talking to himself, even though Doug's off gathering firewood.
Right.
And he says, "I'll tell you about crawly stigfoots and octopus vines," and he gets louder, "and poisonous jelly creatures the size of pot roasts."
Yeah.
That kid is zooming.
Right.
He's zooming.
Right.
He's just
I think you're right.
he's loving it. You know?
He's just imagining all these things. It's like, hello, poisonous jelly the size of pot roast.
He seems psyched though.
Yeah, no, he was
He's
totally
excited.
into it.
Yeah,
totally
he's having
into
a
it.
good trip
Maybe
there.
Dink drugged all of them.
Oh god, that's another way to read.
That's
it.
why he's the best camp. That's why they all love him. Because they're drugged.
Because
Heavily
they're all on
sedated.
acid. So fun. The Boy Scouts are so fun.
And then after all this, Dink finally actually sends the kids off on their dangerous hike,
Right.
reminding that whoever brings back something that says the most about the forest wins the merit badge. And I love how when you look at Doug and Roger setting off into the forest on their drug trip, you can just tell that Roger is loving the shit. He's zooming. He's just totally zooming.
He's zooming.
The look on his face. Yeah.
So they find like a snake.
Yes.
yes, they do. It's
Rogers.
like Jim Morrison shit, man.
But maybe
That's
no.
why he's so scared.
No, because they all see the snake, so they're all having the same
But-
trip.
Okay.
All two of them.
They
What do you
No,
mean?
like later on. He brings
Later
the snake
on, later
back.
on, yeah,
But
yeah,
like,
yeah,
think
yeah.
about okay, the snake is like very like.
It's probably a stick.
Listen, the snake. You're right.
Right.
It's like doesn't Roger's asshole buddies are in the group too, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
They're
they
there,
all-
and they're the ones they see the snake.
Yeah,
as
they
well?
play with the snake.
Later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when the guys are first approached by the little green snake, as Doug calls, he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's a little green snake." It's
Little
just
green
Roger.
guy.
And,
Yeah.
What?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah, it's just Roger
Yeah.
and Doug. They're approached by, and they believe in their drug-induced state that it has human eyes and the ability to smile.
Yeah, it's like
And
a dog.
spell.
And what?
And
It can
spell.
spell.
And
It
spell,
spells
yeah,
high in the
yeah,
ground.
in the ground.
Yeah.
They're totally-
Human language.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. No,
You're
you're,
right,
on to
you're
something
right.
now. Now I
saw-
believe you guys.
And then Doug decides to use his magic drug snake as his key, to win the merit badge.
Right.
Yeah. I think we need to get into what happens when they first see the snake.
Yeah. Go.
Because it's really
Yeah.
quite beautiful. So I think it's Roger who first spots it,
I think so. Yeah.
and he's like snake, and then he puts his whole body in front of Doug.
Yeah.
And protects
Yes.
him.
He's like, "Get behind me,
Yeah,
Doug."
That
Yeah.
was-
protects him and says,
Yeah.
"Stand back."
Even though he was scared.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He was scared of the snake, but somehow wanted to protect Doug.
He's in love
Right?
with Doug.
Maybe.
I
or
think
when it's
so.
just the two. I mean, they've been in the forest together no fewer than 2 times. In this season.
The last 2
In
episodes.
this season,
Yeah.
Or when you do LSD with somebody, it's like you bond.
Bond.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe he might be having sort of like a paternal conflict. Like he maybe didn't have a father or a supportive father, and now he's
Yeah.
high, and he has this smaller kid with him, and he feels protective over him. But it was pretty, it touched me a lot. And then Doug's the brave one. Doug's the one
Yeah.
who's not scared of
Mhm.
the snake. And I love, he's almost condescendingly not afraid of it, because he keeps
Right.
being like, it's okay, Roger's just a little green guy. He's a little cutie. He's like a little baby.
And when you
Roger's
hear
still scared.
his voiceover as he's writing all this story in his journal, he's like, "I guess Roger isn't the fearless after all." Like these little touches of passive aggressiveness.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he deserves it. Though.
Yeah,
I mean,
Roger's
a dick.
Yeah.
he's way lighter on Roger given the opportunity than he should have been, for sure.
Yeah, he had a permanent Roger repellent in his possession.
Right.
Why would he not have kept that?
Doug's just such a great guy.
Well, he lives
Fuck
to regret.
Doug. Oh, also, we got to mention the snake's name. Doug names him Mr. Scaly.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Doug. That's like the worst name.
It's just so easy.
Hell yeah,
Mr.
it's like
Scaly.
I thought about it for 2 seconds. Mr. Scaly. Mr. something is like the worst pet name for anything.
Yeah.
You know what's funny too is thinking that this is all like some drug-induced hallucination. Like how Roger's freaking the fuck out, and Doug's the one who's like, "Oh, it was a little green snake." Well, what if like you see the snake crawl up around Doug, and then it licks his face, and he's like smiling, and Roger's freaking out. What if like Roger's actually seeing what's going on, and Doug's the one who's seeing shit? In real life, the snake's like strangling him, like biting his face.
This is fun.
Like Mr. Scaly.
And Roger's like, "Oh
So
shit!"
funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god. There's some bad lessons for kids on this show.
Yeah, like pick up stray snakes and then bring them to your camp.
Take LSD in the forest with bullies.
Play with a snake.
Last week we had feed your dog chocolate. And then this week it's, if you find a snake, it wants to be your friend.
Play with
so
wild
wait
animals.
till it licks your face. It will.
What kind of like species of snake is this?
I guess a garden.
A green.
I can't. The green kind.
Acid-induced species.
Do you think when like Doug was saying to Roger, it's just a little green guy, he was like being like secretly racist to him?
Because is Roger green?
Roger's green. It's like, you guys are both green. You get along.
Yeah, maybe.
Fucking dick.
Doug's racist.
Yeah, I like to think Doug's a little bit racist.
Yeah, he's white, so.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so essentially Doug decides in his mind that he's going to help Roger with his fear. So everyone convenes at the campfire to show their objects. Skeeter, he bombs. He bombs so hard. Really, really hard.
Remind me what he had.
He has a fucking pine cone.
From the gift shop.
Yeah.
He could have found that in the initial step, you know what I mean? Like the first step into the wilderness.
No,
like,
he had to get it from a gift shop.
Oh, yeah!
But I don't think Skeeter's the kind of guy that would have thought that he was like taking a shortcut. He probably thought that he legitimately had a good item.
Yeah.
You know, because he's stupid. And it amazes me that he is as highly decorated a bluff scout as he is. He must be doing something extra for Mr.
I think anybody just gets a bluff.
Oh my god, he is
for
sure doing something extra on the side.
Like
for Mr. Dink.
Maybe he's his dealer.
Yeah. So Skeeter's the one who has all the drugs.
right. That's why he has the most badges.
Oh, right.
Like
he just hallucinated his badge.
Every deal he gets like, here's the stuff, Mr. Dink. Oh, thanks, Skeeter. Here's another badge. Huh?
Yeah.
So then Roger had gone back before Doug, right?
What's that?
Roger was like back. Roger
ran
back to
ran
camp
home.
before Doug because he was so afraid.
Yeah.
And then like he was being a big old scaredy cat.
Yeah, he's being super, super lame.
Doug even says, I miss the old Roger. What? Well, there's a little bit of Stockholm syndrome there.
Yeah, or like, I guess it's just like disillusionment. It's
That's
like
depressing.
he's almost like a parent. Like, oh, he's so tough, nothing could phase him.
Oh, I miss the old. It's horrible.
But I believe it suggests that the old Roger that we know, love, and hate is not truly gone. At the end of the episode.
Oh
Yes,
no,
that's
he
true.
puts like a little kick me sign at the back of Doug.
Yeah. Like Roger shows Doug gratitude at first, but as soon as the drugs wear off and Mr. Scaly disappears at the same time, then he's back to treating Doug like shit and all is right with the world.
You're so on point, yes.
Like we just perverted this whole episode.
What are you talking about? It's all there.
It makes a lot of sense.
It's all there, bright as day.
When Roger first comes back to camp with, or rather Doug comes back to camp with this green scaly guy, Mr. Scaly. Roger does this thing he does a lot, which is like whisper something to Doug, but then talk out loud to the group, but at the exact same volume. And like Doug comes back and Roger goes, "Hey, I knew you'd make it back." And then and then whispering, he's like, "Did you bring the thing? You know what?" Like that's the volume of his whisper.
Yeah, that confused me why he was saying that. Because he's scared of the snakes, so did he?
He's
or didn't
worried.
Yeah, he just wanted to be like, you didn't bring it, did you?
Yeah, he was trying to reassure himself that Doug wouldn't have brought the snake back, but which he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then he trips out again, hard.
Yeah.
What does Doug do? What does Doug do to save his ass? I forget. Like,
well, he had the choice.
They're passing it around.
Right.
It's like show and tell, and then he's like, "Let's." What does he take the snake away?
Oh, he shows him the trick. He makes Mr. Scaly do the trick.
He's like, "Don't worry, Roger. Look," and then he gives the snake like bounces a couple times, and everybody's like, "Oh." That makes sense. Okay, the snake bounces. Okay.
Non-issue.
That stick just bounced. Whoa.
So what was it? Okay, so what's your final thoughts on the episode? I guess we'll start with you, Laura.
I liked it. Now I'm trying to like break down the plot to think if it was structured well, but I really enjoyed seeing Roger and Doug have a moment. It gave Roger a little bit more depth, and it made Doug a little less lame because he had some like
He had the upper hand.
onus of control. Yeah, like he had the upper hand, and he had to help Roger. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I actually, when I was discovering this thing about Mr. Dink maybe not being able to have kids, I felt genuinely sad.
Me too.
I'm sad. That's how I feel.
Oh, what about you, Yuri?
Should I bring it down a little?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I liked it. I really liked it a lot. It kind of reminded me of Dazed and Confused. Like kids,
Right.
drugs, forest.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it just you're right. The structure might not, but again, like a movie like Dazed and Confused, one of my favorites, doesn't have much of a structure in the plot. It was more about just it was fun and games to me. And
Right.
I liked it every moment of it.
Blake Snyder, come back.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Come on back, Blake Snyder.
I actually hated this episode. It's my least favorite
Really?
so far. Yeah. I was like so bored. I was like, I don't care that they're in the forest. I was like, why would Roger be a Cub Scout? Makes no sense. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Didn't really like it.
You liked it less than, or you thought it was less exciting than Doug the Bandit?
I love
that
Doug the
was the
Bandit.
worst.
I love one
That
and
was the
a.
That was the worst.
That was the worst.
But
You love Doug too much.
I do love Doug too much.
Who decided to do a Doug podcast?
It was me. It was me because we were having a conversation about Doug, and was it me brought it up or you brought it up?
I asked you. No, I wanted to do a podcast with you on a TV show, and I said, "What TV show?" And you said, "Doug," and I said, "Yeah."
And now here we are. So let's continue on.
Doug rocks.
Doug
rocks.
rocks.
Right from the get-go, Doug
Yeah.
designates himself as even lamer than ever by revealing that he was the only person in Bluffington who doesn't have a favorite
What's
band.
wrong with you, Doug?
He doesn't have a favorite band, whereas Skeeter is a huge fan of a band called the Beets. And we should probably talk. You should talk about the Beets a little bit,
The Beets. I brought them up last episode,
Yeah.
not realizing they're going to come up in this episode.
so soon. Yeah.
Yeah, the Beets. You know, they're like a Beatles band. They show up a lot in Doug. They're kind of like a running thing.
Oh, cool! I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Actually, in Disney's Doug, the very first episode of it, the Beets break up.
Ooh.
And they're doing like a final, the last tour ever tour, and then they're like showing a video clip of it, and they're just like throwing their instruments at each other on
Oh,
stage while
no.
they're performing. It's hilarious.
Do they have like a Yoko character?
I don't think so. I think they just break up,
Oh, okay.
and they just hate each other, but they still perform, and they just want to kill each other. I just love that.
It's just like the Beatles. Do you do they look the same? Do you remember all the way? I just
I
thought it
think
was
so.
funny how they don't look like the Beatles except for the one guy
Oh, they
who looks
sound-
and no, just the one guy
Looks like Ringo?
looks and sounds just like
Yeah.
Ringo
Yeah,
Starr.
yeah.
But other than that, they're just clowns.
But they
Check
sound.
this out.
Yeah, they have the Liverpool accent.
Yeah.
One of them
I
does.
think two of them.
Ringo.
I think only two of them
Ringo.
talk.
I didn't. Well, it could have been two. I only caught the one.
Right.
But their music sounds more like Styx or like they don't
Yeah.
really sound.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Beatles.
you're right.
Because it was 91, so it would have been
Yeah.
like Crowded House or something.
Yeah, they don't sound like the Beatles for sure.
And there's a bald woman.
Yeah, there's like a Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes,
True.
that's
that.
why.
I think
was
she
the
is. I
influence.
think she's like the bassist. I think.
Cool as he
I don't
is.
know. I always thought that was cool as a kid.
Yeah.
Um,
Sinead.
love that Sinead.
So-
Love her.
Aw,
Skeeter,
yeah.
Skeeter jams out to the air guitar, the Beats air guitar,
Mhm.
to
In
their
his
latest single, Killer,
Killer
Tofu. And he introduces
Yeah.
Doug to the world of the Beats through Killer Tofu and other great hits.
Right.
I like that they're rocking out with wigs on, but none of the wigs match the
back.
hair of the Beats.
Yeah. I love Doug's like blue wig. It makes him look like a woman.
Yeah, well, it's a bob. It's not like a
Right.
It's not like the mop, the
Mhm.
Beatles mop. It's like a nice chic woman's bob.
Yeah, like bangs and
Right.
everything.
Yeah. It's like I feel like whenever like a cartoon, like a male cartoon character dresses in drag, they look exactly like a woman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because of
of
like
the
their
animation.
faces. Well,
Yeah.
their faces are
Yeah.
so simple.
it's true.
There isn't much
That's
to
true.
designate. It's just like South Park, like a hat is what the difference between
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah,
All their faces are exactly the same.
So Skeeter and Doug are hanging out together,
outside.
beating off together. When sure enough, Roger catches them in the act.
Yeah.
Walks up and says, catches them beating off and walks up. And he's like, well, if it isn't the Beat Brothers beating off together.
He says that.
No,
Aw.
but close.
He's
Close.
like, I always knew. And then Skeeter's like, hey, want to join us? He's like, okay.
Secretly.
Now I'm gonna go home to my washroom. No,
I'm gonna go beat off in my washroom.
You guys, you just stay. Yeah, fuck, I could run with this. Like Roger, he shits all over Doug and Skeeter's beat escapade. Like, he shits all over it by informing them that the Beets are actually coming to Bluffington and that he just bought the last 2 tickets. While Doug and Skeeter are left heartbroken, Roger starts to beat off with a cat. A cat wearing a wig. Or maybe Roger was wearing a wig.
Him get into the mood.
One of them are wearing either Roger or the cat who are beating off together.
I didn't even know the cat was in this again.
Is it Roger's
I've never
cat?
seen the cat.
I never noticed the cat.
He's frequently there.
Maybe
Roger
I'm watching
beats
the
off
cut
his
where
cat.
they don't. Yes, thank you. You said how
Yeah.
Roger beat off his cat.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Roger's beating off his cat.
He's a strange. No. He beats. Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's a strange fellow either way.
Yeah.
I just can't believe in a small town.
You're really running with this. This is like 2 minutes full of beating off.
I don't think it's gonna end.
This is like just like before with the drugs. It's there. Okay, it's in the
Yeah.
episode. But I just can't believe that in a small town, when a big
Oh my
band
gosh.
comes, the kids they're not going to hear about it.
Laura,
especially
your
when-
mom's not gonna like this episode.
No. Oh my gosh, should we give her a shout out? 'Cause she
Yeah.
does listen.
Shout outs to Laura's mom.
Hey, mommy.
She was we were at our commencement together, and I met Laura's mom, and she went up to me and was like, "I'm a very big fan of your podcast."
Yeah, she loves it. She doesn't have like boundaries or like there's nothing we can't talk about. So just just run with it.
Right. Well, she said it was a little bit crude at times.
She said that?
Yeah, didn't she?
She was trying to save face probably because she's.
Oh, because my parents were
your
there
parents
too.
were there.
and-
Well, when I met your parents,
yeah.
I asked. I think it was your mother who I asked, "Do you listen to the podcast?"
Oh, you wanted to make sure.
And she said, I think she said not yet, but that she intended to, and I didn't know how. Like, obviously, I was like, "Oh boy,
She's gonna think you're a big
Oh, boy.
racist, Yuri.
a racist." She's gonna think more than that.
Oh. So you're racist.
Anyways, back to beating off.
So Roger comes and he makes them feel like crap for not having the last 2 tickets, and then Roger proceeds to stay for dinner and hang out past dinner,
Which was cool.
and listen to music with them.
Right.
Which is like, at what point is it not bullying and just hanging out?
That's a thing they do in a lot of TV shows about kids, I find. You always, like
Yeah.
in teen dramas, you always have it always sets up, like in the first 5 episodes or so, that this is the popular asshole kid.
Yeah.
This is the nerdy, likable kid.
Yeah.
This is the best friend, the love interest. And then there's always that first episode where all of a sudden the asshole is hanging out with the other kids. They did it in the OC. They did it. What was another? There's a show that was on, another show like that on Fox before that. But they always do it, and it just kind of happens. And it's not like real life, but
Well, they have to find a reason for them all to hang out in the same space.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's just.
But it's cool that they're
There's
just
no
a bunch of
conflict.
kids hanging out too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess it's cool. I mean, Roger does frequently treat them terribly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But-
too
Have
terribly.
no
to hang
reason
out.
to
I would.
hang out with
I would
them.
never have hung. I was picked on a lot in school. Big surprise. And I would never have like hung out with someone who treated me that bad. But yeah. Well, actually, that's not true. If you have a friend who hangs out with the person that treats you badly, you end up hanging out with them.
This is true.
I just want to mention something before we skim over it. There's like 2 shots in this where Roger is white.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
like I think when he's rocking out for some reason, he's wearing the wig. Yeah, Roger wears the wig, and he's white. He's not green. He's white.
A hue of green, like a light green.
Like he's like Doug's color.
Interesting.
You mean
They just
beige?
messed up.
Yeah, or whatever.
he turns
like the pink,
or like
whatever.
actual white,
like white. Yeah, no, not like white. Like white.
like
as
cartoon white.
In, white is in we call humans white.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
Like
stupid.
cartoon white,
Which is
like-
kind of
like human
stupid.
white.
Like we're not like white people aren't
White.
really white. They're like pink.
No, I
Pink or
remember
beige
that.
olive.
Why don't we just
Uh,
call that? Why don't we just call them like pink? It's such a-
I don't know. Let's change that.
Race
Let's
topics.
change it.
Let's
We're really
bring
good
it
at talking
back.
about race relations.
Bringing it back. We ain't white.
So they actually end up winning tickets to the show from a radio contest.
Yeah. Oh, can we talk about the trivia question?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
let's-
Okay. So they call into the radio show, and they have to answer 3 trivia questions, and the first one is, what is the Beets? This whole part made me laugh. Did it make you guys laugh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
The
pretty great.
first one was, what is the Beets' #1 single? And the answer is, I sneezed on my face. I love that.
That's good,
so
pure
much.
How could he
comedy.
do that?
Yeah.
Dumbest name I've ever heard. Then, what's the name of the lead singer? Wendy Nesbaugh's pet fruit bat. What?
Wait, is it the guy's name is Wendy?
No, I think it's Shanae.
No, but Shanae never sings.
Oh, she doesn't?
No, it's a guy singing, right?
Maybe like it's one of those cool rock stars who has a
Like a
female
woman's
name.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Alice
thinking.
Cooper.
Or
Alice Cooper.
Yeah, Alice Cooper.
Isn't that the reason why he called himself Alice Cooper? Because like it's a girl's name and he was
And
being
it's cool.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Alice Cooper. He's
Or
like,
like
a cool
Ozzy
uncle.
Osbourne.
Anyways,
Yeah. So the answer to what the pet fruit bat's name is Chi-Chi and Michi. And the third question is which album cover has a microscopic picture of Chap Lippman after his gallbladder operation?
I love how they
Amazing.
answer it.
Yeah, they don't know the answer.
Chap Lippman's a good pun too.
Yes.
That's a good pun.
Chap Lippman?
Yeah, chap
like
lips.
Oh,
lips
I have a
Which is
cold and I
disgusting.
forgot to bring my chapstick. Thanks for reminding me, Richard.
Sorry. What was I supposed to remind you of this?
No, I
No,
mean,
you
you reminded
made
me
him
of how
feel
my lips
sorry.
are
Sorry about
uncomfortable.
your dry
I'm in pain
lips.
here, man.
I'm
Cracked
sorry.
lips.
I'm sorry about your cracked
We
lips.
should do that thing in the nose episode where we keep saying chapped lips, like work into conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nose.
That
Yeah,
was my-
chap
Oh.
lip. Chap lip.
Oh
Chap lip.
man.
That was my Roger whisper. So loud.
Did we say how they answered the
No,
question?
no, sorry.
Yeah, what was
Go
the
for
answer to the
They
question?
didn't know the answer, so
Yeah.
they're all like, "Oh no, what is it? What is it?" And then one of
Doug.
them, Doug goes, "Beats me." Well, what do you know?
Oh,
That's the name of the album.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It would be Beats Nate. Beats.
Beats me.
Beats Nate.
And amidst this great victory,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Oh, no.
Skeeter, not being able to help himself,
Fucks it up.
he beats off at the dinner table, surrounded by his family and friends.
Doug gets very angry.
Doug tries.
He changes
Doug
his
tries
skin
to stop.
color.
Yeah. Because your dad's losing his words.
Doug tries to stop him, but once Skeeter starts to beat off, you just gotta let him do his own skeet thing, you know? Everywhere and
God damn
anywhere.
it.
Even at the dinner table. And while beating off, Skeet makes...
To be fair, he is listening to his Walkman and playing with his spoons on the dinner table, like drumming, being like,
And singing obnoxiously, "Killer Tofu."
By
Tofu.
By the way, Skeeter, that's very very
Impolite.
rude with guests over.
Yeah.
Not to mention in front of your family you're eating dinner with.
It's true. He's
Like,
leaving his
socialize.
friends to their own devices to talk to his parents and make conversation.
I
Yeah,
feel
well,
like
you
I
invite-
feel like
yeah.
Skeeter's on the spectrum.
And
somewhere.
Skeet
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
a mess all over his father's hair and is grounded.
Right.
Yeah. Skeet's all over
Skeeter
that
has
daddy
a-
hair.
Skeeter's dad has issues.
Okay, let's talk about this and bring the room down one more time.
Yeah.
He has dementia.
His dad?
Skeeter's dad?
Yeah.
How?
He can't regulate his emotions. He gets overly frustrated and he loses his words. Like easy words
Yeah.
like potato,
Grounded.
grounded.
What's that thing when you
Word.
can't come out of your room?
Yeah, that's pretty. Actually, that was kind of funny.
Like, he has dementia, right?
Yeah, maybe.
He
He's
could
very.
He could be an old dad. Like, he could be 80. We don't really know
Yeah.
what his age
Maybe
is.
that's why Skeeter is so messed up.
Yeah.
Because he had like children when he was like 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. That's not good.
No.
Oh man, that's why Dale's so fucked up.
Who's Dale?
The brother who we saw again today.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it like...
The little kid, you know,
The
like
kid who bit his nose.
Yeah, big nose kid, yeah.
yeah.
Big nose.
Yeah, right after I said you'll never see him again, he shows up in
The
this
next
episode.
week.
That's so funny.
So, like...
He doesn't have any lines though, which is kind of a bummer.
No.
With Skeeter grounded, Doug, he's like a really good friend.
Yeah.
Doug, that was really cool. I didn't think he was going to do what he did, but he stays home and he beats off with some more. But he like
I'll
misses
beat
the
off with
concert.
Skeeter.
I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah,
ask
they
you
missed the
guys
concert.
if that's something you would do for your
I think I
friend.
would.
Beat your friend.
Beat off with your friend. If your friend had to miss a concert because they got grounded and you had tickets together and they were your best friend and you had won the tickets in tandem, like together, would you
Right.
beat off at home with your friend or would you go to the concert?
I would stay home. I think I'd definitely stay home with my friend. But I would feel... I'm just weird and neurotic like this. I would want really hard... I'd try really hard to make sure that somebody else did use the tickets because I hate the feeling of stuff going to
That's
waste.
the
Yeah,
worst.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was like short notice too, and like Roger was the only other friend, quote unquote, they had with him, and he had his own tickets, so like they couldn't give it to him.
I guess it was something shitty like that situation, I would. But if
Yeah.
like the friend had to go to work or something, I would probably still go.
Yeah, I mean, Skeeter sort of was that. I mean, it was his fault.
No, it was
a
his
little
fault. He was
bit,
being a weird dick for some reason.
and ignoring his dad's wishes.
Yeah.
And beating off at the table.
Yeah.
So.
I get it. You know, I get it.
Making a mess in his dad's hair.
Because he does.
He
does.
does.
He does.
He skeets all over it.
He does.
He pulls a skeet And
pulled a
skeets
skeet
all
and
over
got
it.
messy hair. And
I love how much mileage we're getting out of this.
Getting out of what?
Oh, never mind. So then they're just they're pretending to have a beat concert in the room, aka beating off, and they're just like singing "Killer Tofu" really loud, and the dad gets so angry.
Dad walks in on them beating off.
Like, not again.
And he walks in, and when he sees the two of them beating off together, he becomes concerned about keeping his son locked away in his room so much. So he lifts Skeeter's grounded status, and they.
Yes.
Well, it's not so much he lifts his ground; it's just like get out of the house. Like he just kicks them out of the house at 9:00 at night.
That's so fun. That's how little he can handle his kid.
Very abusive. Like that's horrible.
Not very
Kick your
accepting.
kid out. He should have just kicked Doug out or something.
Yeah. Well, he knew he'd still be beating off though, even if Doug left. I guess.
Probably. God, that's.
I don't. Okay, this
Skeeter has issues.
storyline. Skeeter, they all have issues.
Yeah.
Let's be real. But this
Yeah.
storyline, like, just it makes no sense once he ungrounds him as to why he wouldn't go to the concert.
Once he what?
Once he ungrounds him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would
Well-
he not go to the concert?
I guess
or is
we
it
can-
too late?
We
It's
can only
already-
assume
already
it's
late,
Too
yeah.
late? Okay, okay.
Like by the time they're done, like I don't think they have a ride there. They would need a ride there.
Right, they're children.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not very mobile.
The dad's not going to drive them. Although Doug's parents could drive
No,
them.
Doug's parents would just say, "Take the bike." Like,
I like a boy who
Yeah,
takes
exactly,
his bike.
exactly.
Who beats,
wouldn't
I
hear
love a
it.
boy who beats off with his best friend.
They wouldn't even hear the question. They'd be like, "Good for you."
Good for
Proud
you,
of you.
Doug.
Fair enough. But maybe we've been too late by the time they got there.
Yeah, that
They,
makes
like
sense.
can't go halfway through it, killing it.
I think it goes right from Skeeter's place to the burger place, right? Like there isn't, or do they go somewhere?
Yeah,
else?
no, they go to the what the fuck's that burger place called? I keep
Uh,
forgetting.
I don't-
Shake Shack. No.
The Shake
No,
Shack.
it's like the Quickie Burger, Jimbo Burger,
Jim Jenkins.
the Jenkins Burger,
Uh-oh.
Jimbo
An
Burger.
intern will look it up and post it. on
the Duffy
the
Burger.
comments.
Oh, it's gonna kill me.
Do you want to
anyways.
know?
No, let's
We
keep
don't
going.
have time. Okay.
The Buffy Burger.
And then, at the end of all this struggle and beating off, they run into the Beets at the burger place, and they all beat off together.
Yeah.
Hey,
Group beat.
let's beat off with these kids.
Hey kids,
Like,
why
take
don't we
these
beat off?
jackets and we can all beat off together.
Let's go beat off in a tour van.
Like, do you want to beat off with some tofu?
Isn't that what they beat off to?
Yeah, they beat
Yeah.
off to tofu.
Kill
Like,
it,
get a
kill it,
tofu.
tofu. Yeah, but I think that's cool. They just happen to be there and they meet the
No,
Beats.
it's amazing. That's
Yeah,
the best
it's
outcome of not being able to see a show.
Right.
Is that the band comes and gives you a private show after
Right.
one
well, not
song.
really. They just
but
kind of
Yeah.
meet them. But
they,
that's
they
still
sing.
that's-
They sing together.
Oh
They
yeah, a
sing
little
together.
bit. Yeah.
They beat.
I would be very
Yeah.
embarrassed if like I was singing like what's the
Sweet
band?
Child of Mine.
If I was singing "Sweet Child of
Mhm.
Mine," and then like Axl Rose comes up to me and is like, "Hey man, that's my song. I'm gonna sue you, you fucker."
Come on, Axel.
Come on, Axl.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I think he'd start
off
harmonizing with you.
No, Axl Rose would be like a total dick
total
to me.
dick.
Yes, he
That's
would.
true.
Yes, he would. What would what's the guitarist's name?
Slash.
She'd be down.
Well, Slash would be down. Slash would be like, "Hey, I'll play in your. Can I play guitar for you, man?" I was like, "No, I was kind of just singing."
Trying to get a
on here
burger?
on the- Oh, come on! I'll play guitar for you, man. I was trying to. I just
Just
realized
Trying
my
to do
Slash impression wasn't
is
accurate.
Roger.
Yeah, I'll play guitar for you, man. Come on.
And Roger
Come on.
shows up too at the end of the episode. I forgot about that. He's
Yeah.
Right after the Beats leave.
Oh yeah.
What's
You
he
guys
say?
missed the best show. You can't even
Yeah.
imagine what it would be like to see the Beats. Instead of shoving it in his face like any normal person.
Yeah.
Any kid would
Any
definitely
kid would
throw
do.
it.
Right.
They were like, "You're right, Roger. We didn't see them."
No, see, like a real kid would have went, "Yeah, well," and
Yeah.
Yeah, we met the beat. Well, like,
yeah, well, it's like the classic kid preface.
But no kid is graceful. I mean, no kid
Yeah.
is graceful, but Doug is. So
well, these
Yeah.
two, well, Doug and Skeeter, they said like, "Oh, no one would believe us." That's probably why they didn't tell Roger.
Yeah, I guess
And Roger
especially
wouldn't believe-
Roger.
yeah, exactly.
But still, that Yuri's right, like that childlike impulse to just want to get
Yeah.
it. Yeah, well,
kids
well,
can't
Roger.
control that.
But Roger had shitty seats. He was at the very back row, and he had to use binoculars to see them.
Yeah, because Roger's poor.
Fucker.
Or is he?
Oh,
No,
is he?
and Doug's what's that? Disney's Doug. Roger wins the lottery and he becomes rich.
What?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Is
plot
it
twist.
him or his parents?
No, his parents become rich, but he becomes
Oh,
rich because
as a
of that.
result.
I think his parents are together actually. Maybe. I don't know.
Huh.
Who knows?
But so anyways, that's what do you guys think of Killer Tofu as a song?
Catchy, actually.
I like it.
As good as Sweet Child of Mine.
I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's actually some somebody did like a remix of it, like they used actual audio from the episode, but then they put like
Really?
like a guitar over and they actually did like a guitar solo for it.
Was it good?
And it sounds like an actual song. It's pretty good.
Cool.
I'll probably put
We
this
should-
in
yeah, I should
for the
definitely
theme
put that
song.
You say that's on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like
cool.
just killer tofu. It's everywhere.
I love YouTube.
Also, I think like Doug is big in the hip hop community.
Well, do you guys love the theme song?
To Doug?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Is it the same theme song as Disney's Doug?
No, they changed it.
Because I kind of feel like they interpret the Nickelodeon song into the new one, but plus some, and it has more of a, I don't know,
It's the same style,
what Generation
but
Y
it's
kind
like
of sound.
they try to up it a little bit. Like
Yeah.
there's like I think there's a guitar part when Roger comes on screen. And it's like dun, 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 and then Patty comes on screen. And it's like
Isn't it more
Yeah.
like
Patty floats on a balloon or some shit. Yeah, it's like da 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 ba boop ba boop ba da 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 ba da da.
I could go further with it, but I'm afraid that I'm mistaking it for a different
No, you're
cartoon
right.
theme song.
No, you're right. You're right.
Is it the one's like do 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 do?
Nope. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Oh
That's
my
it.
god, I love
Yay.
that song. It's so great.
Oh, I have to address one more thing. There was I don't know if you guys know about this. There was a Doug live show at Disney World.
Oh, what would they do?
It was this exact episode.
Really?
They just stole the plot from this episode. Like I think I watched it on YouTube, and it was like Doug. It was like a musical, by the way. And it was like Doug's like, "Welcome to Bluffington.
Oh,
all
is it
my
all
friends
music?
are here, and there's Skeeter over there, and Patty Mayonnaise. I really like her."
Oh my god.
I'm not exaggerating this, by the way.
Is it all sung? It's sung the whole time?
Not the whole thing, but
Okay.
a lot of music, and like the whole thing about like they win tickets to the last Beat concert.
True. What would Roger's voice sound like singing?
It's terrible. It's like, hey, Doug.
Hey, Funnie
Right.
Gang.
It's not graceful, those voices.
Oh man.
But
I want to watch that.
and then the guy who does Doug doesn't even try. He just does like a Broadway singing voice. Dear Journal, today he's like that.
That's amazing.
He's like the character from Book of Mormon,
Oh
like
my
the
God,
main guy. He's like that,
Dear
but like
Journal.
but played straight. And there's like a small woman dressed up as pork chop.
Small woman.
It just like barks and stuff. It's so.
I'm certainly gonna watch that.
Yeah, you should watch it. We should do an episode on that actually one
Let's
day.
do that next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah.
Let's
it's
just-
more fun.
You have to like insert it somewhere.
You know what? Let's just do it because
Okay.
like we're not
Makes
going to get to
sense.
Disney Doug. So, what was your thoughts on this episode as a whole? Doug rocks.
Well, I didn't know about the Beets until this episode. Like I had never
Yeah.
seen them. You had only talked about them, so
Yeah.
I was excited to get introduced to them. The plot's a little thin.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
I liked hearing that Tofu song.
What's wrong with fun? Am I
Yuri.
right? Is that toilet paper?
Yes, it is.
Yuri's just
Was that your
pulled
was that
out
your Kleenex?
used
This is my clean
Kleenex.
Kleenex.
Yuri's a little bit sick, ladies and gentlemen, but he's being a trooper and coming in anyways, which we appreciate.
Yeah.
But now he's playing with his toilet paper. He used his
He's
Kleenex.
used toilet paper.
Oh, he's not used. You haven't used it yet, right?
unused.
Unused. There we go.
He's just straightening it out a little.
Okay. We're gonna keep all that in, by the way.
Yes, we should.
What's your opinion on Doug Rocks?
Doug rocks? Not, but he sure,
Borat.
he sure can beat off.
God damn it! This is great. Beat off.
I like the episode
The
too. Again,
beat-offs.
I really like the thing with Roger becoming part of the group, and because I like the idea of a group of kids. I don't know. There's
Yeah.
something appealing, like a story about coming of age, group of kids hanging out, just doing kid stuff. Doesn't even matter if the plot isn't that strong when it's about coming of age. It's one of the themes in both literature, film, TV that I find most interesting, I guess. And I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of liked it. Didn't Mr. Dink appear at one point?
He briefly, and it was so briefly that when I was taking notes, I was like,
forgot.
I'm just gonna scratch this out of my memory because I don't even know how to interpret
What
this.
is he? Where does he fit in?
He convert. They meet him up and like I think they just do it for a gag. Like he has like a new invention where he
Oh,
converts
that's right.
all the works of Bach.
Beethoven or
Beethoven.
something.
Yeah, no, you're right. Beethoven. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Into one sound, and he
it's
plays
just
the
like
sound.
a
And
fart.
it's like
Yeah.
And then he has
a premature.
A jack.
what do you
Yeah.
call it?
Premature
Mohawk.
ejac.
And premature ejaculation.
And then Tippy's like, oh, that's... She
Tippy's
says
like,
something
kill
like...
me now.
If I had tried to
I'm
read
used
into
to
that, if I had tried to read
I thought you
into
would have
that-
read
I-
into
well,
that.
No,
That's why I didn't even touch it.
Listen, I made a lot of notes this week, and I was thinking...
You did?
I did, more than usual. And I was going to, like, read into that, but then I was tired, and I thought, no, if I start now, I'm not going to finish for, like, an hour. And it
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the rest of the story. Like, it was literally, like...
Yeah,
and
one
it was
gag.
briefer than usual, too, with his appearance. So
Oh, that's true.
I didn't want to... Yeah, there was too much
Oh.
else going on.
Not enough Dink, not enough Patty either.
Patty, yeah.
Patty
No-
appeared in like
no
a dream
Patty.
sequence
Mm.
where like where Doug was like a rock star.
Oh yeah, where it's like
It's like,
once he has a
Thank you,
favorite band.
Bluffington.
Yeah.
I like how he kind of does like a little rock starry voice.
Yeah, and he's just throwing his guitar
Yeah.
and like lassoing it.
Right. And then Patty's like, he's so cute.
It's horrible representation of female roles. in
Yeah,
this
she
episode.
just takes off her
Yeah,
underwear and
kinda.
throws it on stage.
Fuck me now.
Oh, God. Oh. That's what she'd sound like. Coming.
Patty coming.
That's Patty coming.
Patty making mayonnaise.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's so great.
Who's gonna apologize for that?
But don't cut it out.
I'm not gonna cut it out. Why would I do that? I don't know. So,
I apologize too, I guess.
okay, we're all sorry.
Sorry.
I'm not.
Play the sad music. We're sorry. The end. Okay, so that's it for Funny Talk, everybody. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm working on getting the show on iTunes and making progress.
Hey, if anyone listening to this knows about getting podcasts on Libsyn or iTunes, a way of doing it for cheap, or like if you could code yourself, you can put it in the comments.
Can you do the free work for us?
No, like, that. But also if you know that there's like a way, because I tried coding anyways.
What's iTunes?
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's like if all the songs
I really don't know what it
put
is,
together and you
actually.
can like buy them and they rip you off.
Do you pay to get it?
Yeah, you have to buy the songs.
Oh, because I remember back in 2007 I had it for free.
Oh no, you don't pay for the
07 was
service.
a
You have to pay for
different
the
time.
songs,
Oh,
like to buy the songs.
okay.
And they're like $1.25 now.
Right.
Ripping me off. Anyways, so
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, fuck your burn in hell, asshole.
Hey,
Don't speak
not
ill
about Steve,
of
man.
Steve.
Oh come on, let's grow up, guys. Not like
Let's call a spade a spade.
let's call a spade a spade.
And a Steve.
He's dead along with Blake Schneider. They're all
Schneider?
they're all writing shitty screenplays in hell.
He wrote screenplays?
Didn't Steve Jobs work? He worked on Toy Story.
Really?
That's true.
As a writer?
I don't know not a
Oh,
writer,
okay.
but he did like. No, maybe he did. No, maybe I'm thinking of Joss Whedon. Josh Whedon wrote on the first Toy Story,
Okay, but he's not dead.
along with like 5 others.
Josh isn't dead.
He's dead to me.
He just turned,
Avengers 2 was shit.
he just turned 51.
Old as fuck.
Yeah.
Anyways.
What do you think about Fassbender as Steve Jobs coming up? You seen the preview?
No.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think of Ashton Kutcher as Steve Jobs?
Well, apparently nobody thought much of it, so I didn't bother.
Did,
Yeah.
did either of you see it?
No.
It looked like
It
balls.
looked pretty bad.
Maybe we should do a podcast where we review that movie. Anyways, follow me at Coconut Buyer on YouTube and on Twitter at Coconut Buyer. You can follow Laura at
Tweebo?
Tweebo. TWI.
No. TWEIBOW.
Listen to her. And
You can follow me on the streets, man. I walk the streets.
follow you home to your apartment.
Or out of my apartment, whichever is
If you
easier.
live with Yuri,
Ooh.
follow him outside of the apartment. You know, maybe he will beat off with you.
Killer Tofu!
Yeah, Tofu! Yeah! Bum, 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 my feet look fuzzy. Time, where do we go?
It's the chameleon.
There we go, walk like Egyptian. I was dying in your arms tonight. Gonna cut the episode.
Hey you guys, this is Yuri. I guess my future self, Yuri. I just wanted to apologize for all of the numerous references to teen masturbation in this episode. No teens should masturbate. I do not endorse teen masturbation. I have never masturbated. Our Prime Minister Stephen Harper does not want us to masturbate. That is all.
That's a lie. Yuri masturbates.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say condorse?
Condors. Hey
Condorse,
guys,
yeah.
masturbate your teens.
Did I say condorse?
Get your teens masturbated.
You said condorse.
Is that even a word?
No, it's not.
What did I mean to say?
And
You
endorse or
endorse. You don't
condone.
endorse.
Here, let me do it one more time, though.
Okay.
Hi, guys. This is Yuri, future self Yuri. I just wanted to apologize for the